Hi, I'm Richard, and welcome to our 40 Lander Street, Darlington renovation project. Let's go.
Amish got the vibes, got the vibes, got the vibes, got the vibes.
Hello guys, come on in. Alright guys, so what I'm about to do is I'm going to take you through this project. It was a long, complicated, hard project. This is the project that when we say blood, sweat and tears, it literally means blood, sweat and tears. Alright guys, so the first thing we've done in here, and one of the major things was the asbestos. We had to shut down this site twice. We had to get clearance certificates. There was, on the ceiling, there was gyprock, followed by asbestos, followed by timber banding, which was very hard to detect. The bathrooms had asbestos in the walls. It said Villaboard on it, so we didn't really pick up on it. It looked like Villaboard because it was renovated, you know, in the not too long ago. But then we took it to the tip and we got done for contaminated loads. So we had to pay, it was like $3,500 to remove the contaminated load. Look, with a project like this, variation in hidden costs are going to be like a lot more significant than normal projects. Terrace is over 100 years old, and it takes a lot of time and effort to get to what we have here now. Guys, this was about a 3-month project, and we tried to finish it as quickly as possible, as it is an investment property, and the owner lives in Byron Bay, so making decisions from such a far distance was quite difficult, but we got there in the end. So the first thing that you guys want to look at is the render in the walls. These old walls, they have white set render in the walls. Basically, we haven't used white set render for years and years. And it's sort of a cross between sand and cement render and gypsum or gyprock or plasterboard. So patching it, especially with the amount of cracking that was in this property, you would have seen, you know, variations. You would never be able to hide it. It would look really cheap. So when with the customer and I, with the discussion of the customer, we decided to take off all the existing render and re-render the whole property. This was a 2-week project. It's quite expensive, quite labor intensive, but look at the results. It speaks for itself. The other thing we did here, we did all the gyprock in the lower level, we redid it, and along the upper level as well. We redid all the wiring in this property was non-compliant, from the power lines in the street to every single wire, every single power point had to be chased into the walls, which is one of the reasons we had to render the whole property. Because every time, especially like here, every time we, like for example, we chased up here, and you would have loose bricks in here. For example, all the render was falling off. It would have been impossible to make it look good. So we re-rendered the whole property. All the plumbing in here was non-compliant. There was no gullies. It was all 80mm pipework, so it was non-compliant. Again, with a 100-year-old property, you're going to find a lot of things that do not comply with current standards. So we had to bring that all up to scratch. The other thing we did in here was we held the Windows service. So the windows now operate. If I can unlock it. Not one window is locked in this house, but when I want to open it, it's locked. How good's that? And now it doesn't want to open it. So all the windows open nicely now. So we had a professional sash window guy come in. We did redid all the weights, we redid all the cabling, so they open nice. And to replace these windows is quite expensive, so wherever we get a chance to save them, it's a better option. We also did the new blinds throughout the house, all new painting. All your skirting boards throughout the house are all brand new. All your doors, now with the doors, it was a nightmare. These door openings are non-standard. So, and not only are they not standard width, they're not non-standard height-wise. And because the customer chose a pattern door, it was an absolute nightmare. So we ended up doing all the new door jambs, architraves and doors, and we had to go with solid core doors. In this property alone, you've got about $7,500 worth of doors and skirting alone in materials. And it was about 8 days to put it all in. This is all obviously brick and render, so it was a bit of a nightmare. Nothing's level, nothing's square. So to get the property to where it is now, I'm quite happy with it. So we also decided to tile the old fireplaces, just to tie it in a bit. We polished and sanded all the floors. These are really old floors and they were quite nasty, so I think they came up brilliantly. The piece de resistance of this property are these doors. I had to convince the customer to remove the wall that was existing in here and replace it with the doors. This gives you the option to have 2 living areas. You can close them up and have an office in the living area. And being an investment property, if you wanted to rent it out like a room by room, you could close this off, put a lock on it, and this becomes a separate bedroom. Look, at Yes I Can, one of our main things is you do it once, you do it right, don't do it again. Don't throw away money, and it boggles my mind how many people just throw away money. So if we come through here again, we have the window fix. The other thing that we did on all these windows, not on my lock, this is going to be locked because I locked it before. We put fly screens. Now these windows, very difficult to put fly screens up in. So we put them in like this. So you can open it with your hand through, but if you open it just that much, then you still got the fly screen and you can have these windows open or brand new. Same thing with the roller blinds. So if we lock this up. Same thing with the roller blinds, nice and easy, simple to use. It blocks out most of the sunlight. And with the amount of downlights that we put in here, look, it's beautiful to say the least. The customer's quite happy. I'm quite happy with the results as well. Because this is an investment property, and even if it isn't, we've got smoke detectors both downstairs and upstairs to make sure that we comply, when the customer wants to rent this property up. So we'll leave the stairs till later on, because that's my favourite part of this property. And I'll take you into the kitchen area. This kitchen was an L-shaped kitchen, and there was no doorway here. The laundry, which we'll go through in a second, was unusable. It was uninhabitable, and it was falling apart, basically to the point where it was unsafe to be inside. So we've rectified that. We've opened up the doorway. Now you've got a full functioning bathroom downstairs, which is very important in a property like this. The only functioning bathroom we had when we walked into this property was upstairs, and that's not the way you want your guests to come and use the bedroom, use the bathroom right next to your bedrooms. So we fixed that up. With the kitchen, we went with a very simple, straight across kitchen. You got the microwave goes in here, which the customer hasn't purchased yet. A nice simple sink with a pull-out tap, so you can get to your big pots and pans. Dishwasher, range hood, cooktop and oven, as standard. We've got the 2 power points here, so you can use your appliances. No handles or anything, it's all push to open, nice and simple. Everything opens and closes quite nicely. Alright, it's a very simple layout, it's very functional. Even with the pantry space, we put quite a lot of pantry space in here with the hidden handles. And you've got 2 sections there, so you can have your dry storage and whatever you want to store stuff in the kitchen. So, but however you want to use it. And we've got big pot and pan drawer down the bottom. All our runners are all blom, so very high-end runners. They're going to last for like years and years and years to come. Now, a couple of the issues that we had here, right above here. You're not going to see much, but right above here is where the upstairs bathroom is. Now this used to have a bulkhead here, but because it didn't have the proper plumbing, or when we installed the proper plumbing, it dropped down quite significantly. This ceiling was a lot higher up. So it made sense to make it just one flat ceiling. Now the problem with that is it came so close to the height of the doors and the windows that we had to work with the cornices, and this is sort of what we came up with as the best option. So the corners end there, we've got a square set finish into the doorway, and the same thing, with the windows here, with the corners just cut into the window, and then you've got, your line that sort of covers it all up. So it sort of ties in quite nicely in here. Now with this door here, this doorway, one of the things is, for some unknown reason, the old architrave, we had glass up there, but the old architrave looked really, really crooked, especially after we've installed everything square. This door looked really badly out of place. So we've replaced the top of the glass, we've replaced it with plywood and painted it, and we've redone all the architraves, straightened it out as much as we can, and now it looks quite fantastic. So this is a very functional layout. One of the other things that we spoke with the customer we designed, we put a power point here just in case you have a small fridge. We've also put a power point on the wall up here, just in case you have a larger fridge. And then you've still got room here for a dining table. So it's a very functional space, good use of small space to make it work. The doors are all polyurethane finish, we've got 20mm stone tops there. It's just, and we've done it all the way up to the ceiling with the square set finish. So it looks absolutely stunning. So let's go into the laundry. Now with the laundry, we've put the door, the light in here so you can get in and out and turn the light. That wasn't the case when we first started, but again, with a project like this, you can't think of absolutely everything. It boggles your mind. If we do a project for you or you're working on a project like this, you'll soon understand that the amount of things, unforeseen circumstances that come up. So this laundry space here, it was basically uninhabitable. So we'll show you the before photos. I'm sure my guys will cut into that now. The floor here was like a flagging with no concrete bed. So you had like a very small layer of sand and cement followed by dirt. So all the floor had to be dug out, all the plumbing had to be redone. By the way, you had major roots under this. In this corner at the back here, and we'll show you that in previous photos, there was massive cracks. This whole structure has actually shifted. There's major trees outside which we'll have a look at the moment, and the roots have come in straight underneath. So we had to do all the new plumbing in here. We had to cut out all the roots. We had to do all new concreting, and because of the location of this property, this took 100 bags of cement and concrete mixed by hand. And when I say blood, sweat and tears, we got to the final stage right over here, and my concreter dropped the mixer, crushed his finger and broke his finger. So he had 5 stitches and a broken finger. We still managed to finish it there. So when I say blood, sweat and tears, I mean blood, sweat and tears. We wanted to use this as a functional space. Now again, not everything is square in here. I think we've done exceptionally well to give you a beautiful finish. We've used our kitchen manufacturing team to manufacture this section. So again, we've got the pull-out tab, so you can fill up your buckets and whatnot. You've got a big enough sink to do your hand washing. You've got storage under here for all your detergents and whatnot. A nice mirror so when your guests come in, it doesn't feel like a laundry. You've got an underbench space for your front-loading washing machine. You can also put a washing machine on that side. We changed the window out to an awning window with a fly screen. New shower, new toilet. Basically, it's a very usable space. It went from an absolutely unsafe place to be in to a completely usable space. And now with a door that leads into the kitchen, it's part of the house. So let's take you guys outside. We haven't done much outside, so we'll have a quick look at it. I'll show you what the problems with a property like this is. And so we'll go from there. Let's go. Alright guys, so this is the outside of the property. There are a few things out here that I wanted to discuss with you guys. Not much of it got done because of certain circumstances, which we'll go through in a minute. But as a basic out here, this is the new awning window. The problem with this old render, it's very rough. So when we took out the old window, put the new window in, it chipped some of the render. So we decided to render in like an architrave around the window. We've also painted the outside, put new doors, fly screens everywhere. We've got an instant hot water system out here. Now one of the major issues here, if we walk around, just before we get to that, brand new clothesline. So that's all new as well. Now over on this side, there's a massive gap in there because this whole structure has come over, and I'll show you the trees in a minute. So we've closed it off with some timber, we've painted it all and sealed it, and we put a vent up there. Now a lot of people would have missed that vent because we've got an IXL in the bathroom. All the heat when you're having a shower and all the steam is going to go into the ceiling cavity. Now being a sealed up area, that'll be very bad. You'll create mold very quickly. So what we've done is put an exhaust fan up here, so if any of the air that gets extracted will come straight outside. And because you've got the vent up there, it's going to prevent any critters getting inside. Now if you walk around this way, you can have a look at what we're talking about here. You can see the major trees here. Now we got an engineering certificate to apply to council. So we got an engineering certificate and a plumbing certificate. When we did a plumbing inspection on this property, we were only able to get about halfway down. There's a major shaft, an 8-foot shaft that connects all the plumbing to the mains right in the back of this property. It is absolutely amazing that the water's running in this property. The problem with a property like this is 1, getting council approval to remove these kinds of trees. 2, because of the access issues here, it's an additional to remove something like 4 of these trees, excavate, get rid of all the roots, get rid of all the stump grinding and whatnot, to redo the plumbing, concrete it and turn it into a usable area. It is a significant amount of money. We're talking above $50,000. So the customers decided to hold off, given that we've done so much work inside, and given that the plumbing is working at the moment for a future project. So to make this sort of a usable space, we've cleaned it all up. We've just done a very basic job. Put some mulch down, some pavers to lead to the backyard. This was completely unusable before. We put some flowers in, cleaned up the concrete. As you can see, even the pavers, with the tree roots, there's not much you can do. So we've worked on this very briefly, made it a bit of a usable space, and that's where it ends here. Now, it would have been ideal to excavate, and remove and fix everything. But being we're in December, we were finishing this very tight before Christmas. It was sort of a very tight squeeze, so the customer and I decided, to leave that for a future project. So let's go back inside. We'll go upstairs and show you through there. So this is my favorite part of the property, guys. The staircase. This was a nightmare, to say the least. So being the end of the year, getting the timbers to match, it was impossible. Being in COVID-19 with the lockdowns and Victorian ash coming from Victoria, it was mind-boggling, to say the least. So what we've done here, we replaced all the treads with Victorian ash, and at the time we couldn't do it, so we've got a combination of timbers for up there, sort of to tie it all in. Now with this staircase, it was a lot of effort, it was a lot of work and very expensive. It would have been almost cheaper, if not the same price, to rip the whole staircase off and start again. But then you run into problems, where do you stop and where do you go from old to new? These stairs was absolutely out of square, unlevel, the landings, the walls, everything was it was so bad, and I'm sure we're gonna cut into, how it used to look. It was so bad, it was an absolute nightmare to repair. But look at the results, it looks absolutely stunning. So we'll walk up these stairs and we'll show you upstairs. So with the handrails, we redid the handrails, custom made banisters, Victorian ash flooring here. What can I say? I mean, it looks absolutely stunning, and I think it finishes off the property quite nice. And being the first thing that you see when you walk into the property, look at it. I think the customer was surprised that it came out like this, and so was I, and I'm pleasantly happy with the results. So let's go upstairs and have a look up there. Alright guys, so this is the smaller of the rooms. This is the one I was telling you before. When we stepped in the corner here, this floor was unstable. It was flexing, it was moving. We had to do a lot of structural support underneath, and the reason for that is there's like an old chimney here. So I believe there used to be like a wood fire stove back, when this property was first built in the kitchen, and this is a chimney. So what they done was, when they renovated 20, 30, 40 years ago, they've removed the chimney from downstairs without the structural support that's needed for the floor. So we've gone through, we've done all the structural support. Not only that, and we went through and we re-plywooded on top of the existing timber here, because the floors were so bad, the plywood just ties everything together, and it makes it feel nice under the feet when you're walking on the carpet. So we decided to go with built-in wardrobes. I know it's a combination of old and new, so this property, the whole thing is a combination of trying to keep the character of the property, but also making it functional, especially as an investment property. So this wall here used to be all cladding. We went through, the customer said, "Oh, just leave it, Richard." I couldn't do it. I've got obsessive compulsive disorder. So I removed it all brand new gyprock. I rebuilt this whole wall because it wasn't even attached to the floor and it was flexing, and being a bathroom with tiles on the other side, I didn't want any possibilities or any chances of that cracking. So rebuilt this wall, all new doors, all new architrave, all new door jambs, brand new wardrobes, brand new ceilings, brand new gyprock, brand new render, everything is brand new in here. Also decided to go with the fans, being, upstairs always the heat risers. So I'll put fans in the bedrooms to make a more usable space without having to run a ducted air conditioning through here or multiple air conditioning units. Alright guys, this is the upstairs bathroom. There's not much to go through in here. It's a small space. I think we've done well. One of the things that you might be thinking is, why on earth would someone get a swing door in here? Which it swings both ways, and even a big guy like myself can get in quite comfortably. I can't do it the other way. Don't ask me to try. I've already tried, and I felt a bit on the chubby side. But the reason for that is, one, to get an old school sliding door, you're gonna have to go full frame, so it deduces from the look of the property. And two, to get a frameless sliding mechanism, not only do they look fantastic, they're expensive and they fail quite a lot. So being an investment property, we've decided to go down this road, and look, it's a shower screen at the end of the day, so if it needs to be replaced, it's very easy to get it replaced. We've put a brand new window in there. It's not opening, but it's got drainage holes, so when it does get wet, water has somewhere to go. A very small freestanding vanity here with a stone top. You can get your feet under there, so it makes it feel like a bigger room. A nice medicine cabinet. It's just a very small functional space. We've tiled to the ceiling with a square set finish. You know, our triple layer waterproofing system in here. We've had to resheet the floors with compressed fibro sheets. Look, it's a small space, we've made it work, and that's basically, you know, this is the result. So it looks fantastic for the size and for the space. Let's go to the other rooms and have a look there. So this is the upstairs part. We're getting to the very nice part upstairs, and let's start with the middle room. Follow me. Alright, this is the middle room, guys. This is a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 1 kitchen terrace. It could be turned into a 4-bedroom, or you can have 2 living areas, but this is what it is. This is the middle room. Again, very simple. New gyprocking, new cornices, new architrave, new skirting, new doors, new door jambs, carpets. Pretty much everything's brand new in here. All the electrical. Fan in the room again, built-in wardrobe, and you've got this fantastic little area outside where, if you're a smoker like myself, you go outside and have a cigarette. We've painted it, patched it, just made it a usable space. It is very small, so you can probably have a chair out there, possibly. And we've done fly screens for all the doors anyway, except for this one, which we forgot. Don't tell anyone. Alright guys, this is the master bedroom. As you can see, it's quite large. This was a bit of a tricky situation. Do we put the wardrobe on this wall? Do we put the wardrobe on this wall? How do we use the space? So I came up with the idea to put a wardrobe on either side of the fireplace. The bad thing about it is the fireplace is not centered, so it's got a different gap on either side, but I think the overall look looks fantastic. You've got a his and hers wardrobe, you know, they both have set drawers. It's a full functional wardrobes on either side. You've also got a door that's opening on its own for some reason, but you've also got tiles. We tiled the fireplace again. All new carpets. We'll put a second fan line in here, fan in the ceiling, and it takes you out to this fantastic looking balcony out here. Now, what can I say? This was a complete rebuild. When we first come to this property, it was unsafe. The balcony was collapsing. The customer, just before I came, she got a quote for $10,000 to repair this. Please guys, you really need to think about these properties, especially when you're getting quotes. It cost us nowhere near the $10,000 mark. I think my cost on this balcony alone was close to the $20,000 price range. My cost. Always when you're recording, someone comes and decides to drive a very loud diesel downstairs. Anyways, as I was saying, for this balcony, it was a lot of work. This was a complete rebuild. My cost on this was about the $20,000. I think it was between 18 and 20,000. Things that came up that we never expected. For example, the wiring. We had to remove the wiring from the street. It didn't comply, so we had to redo all the wiring. There's $3,000 all the way to the box with a new box. This wrought iron, this is what the new version of the wrought iron is all aluminium. This and the freeze, just for this level, you're looking at about $5,000 on its own just to purchase this stuff, right? We wanted to do the freeze downstairs as well, so if you wanted to have 2 of them, that was in the ballpark figure of $6,000 to $6,500 just for the metal. The entire frame had to be redone. It's all hardwood flooring. We had to patch up some render. This whole beam had to be replaced, and the render had to be patched up on the outside. It's an entire process. This here was about 7 to 10 days worth of work, if you consider absolutely everything. Not only that, you got to get council permits. There's a million things involved just to do this balcony. And you have to do it in stages, otherwise it's not classified as a repair, and there's a lot of loopholes and systems and procedures that you have to go through to get this done. So ultimately, it came out absolutely fantastic. It is somewhere you can have a couple of chairs, come out here, have your morning coffee with a fantastic outlook. It is the front of the house and it looks stunning. We put fly screens on here too to finish it off. Alright guys, this is my final thoughts. This project was tough, it was fun. At times I couldn't sleep at night, crying, tears, blood, problems, headaches, what have you. But this is why you choose a builder. And I'm not the only guy that choose a builder that's reputable, that cares about your property as much as he cares about his own property. The owner of this property lives in Byron Bay. One of the biggest things that we had was changing of mind, making selections. It was difficult, right? I could have said, nah, we're not gonna do it. For example, I quoted, I allowed $3,000 for the doors and the skirting on this property, ended up costing me closer to the $6,400, okay? And I said, no worries. For me, it's not always about money. And I'm gonna go out on a limb here, right? And I've never said this before, but I'm a transparent person, and let's just say it. If you're looking for a professional company that's gonna come in with a suit and tie, that's gonna come in and yes ma'am and yes sir, Yes I Can Project Group is not for you. But if you want a team and you want a company that's gonna be your friend and your family, okay, who's gonna treat your property as if it's their own. If you want a team that you can have a little bit of a laugh with and know for a fact that they're gonna respect you and give you the quality of work that you deserve, then we're the team for you. We're not the only company out here that does this. We're not the only company out here with this kind of credentials and this kind of reputation. There are a lot of other ones out there. Just do your homework. Guys, I'm doing this video here. I'm raw. I'm not cutting most of the footage out. I want you to see exactly what we've done here and the experiences that we've had here. And that's what matters to me. It's showing you guys exactly what happens on a job site. And I am a person, exactly the way you see me now is what you're gonna see when I come out and see you. I have some very lame jokes that nobody ever laughs at sometimes, and sometimes it works and I get a laugh, right? But if you want a pro that's gonna come in with a suit and tie, that's not me. I'm transparent. You're gonna get what you see, and that's that. Guys, there's a customer review for this coming up soon. Stay tuned for that. It was emotional for myself because the customer said that she'll trust me with her life after going through this project with me, which is, look, that's what I work for. I work for customer satisfaction and being able to show my children what an honest living is all about. Guys, until the next project, you can visit our website, www.yesican.com.au. You can email us, info@yesican.com.au. You can email me personally, richard@yesican.com.au. You can contact us, 1-800-300-937. That's 1-800-300-YES. And until next time, at Yes I Can, if we can't do it, no one can.